the conversation, the one that gives a shape to things. You stayed some nights, left with the daylight, and I treated silence like it meant something. I stopped returning all the numbers without announcing what had changed. Thought we were reading from the same page while you were turning to another stage. Now I'm carrying a kind of grief, no form to sign, no box to tick. People say you weren't together, as if that cuts the feeling down to size, as if that makes it easier to live with. What were we? I need a name for what I'm losing. What were we, if this was never meant to heal? I can't call it a breakup, can't explain why it still hurts. What were we? We never had a definition, but I've been unraveling since you left. Tell me what to call this. Tell me what to call this. What were we? I packed the sweatshirt from my bedroom chair and skipped the songs we'd play on drives. I still unlock my phone some evenings before remembering I've lost the right. We never built the kind of ending that gives permission to reach out. So I'm mourning something invisible, trying to grieve without a map, in a room that only knows my side. How do you heal a wound no one else believes was there? How do you miss somebody you were never meant to claim, when every ordinary moment still carries traces of their name? What were we? I gave you parts of me selectively. What were we? My body doesn't know this wasn't real. I can't post about the ending, can't explain the weight it left. What were we? Nothing official on paper, but this absence settled in my chest. Tell me what to call this. Tell me what to call this. What were we? People use a word to hold it, something made for blurred out lines, but that doesn't cover rearranging pieces of your daily life. It doesn't capture learning slowly how much space someone can take before you notice you've been building around a future they never planned to make. What were we? I think we mattered in the moments, even if we never said it loud. What were we? You were real to me, and maybe that should count somehow. I can't file this under heartbreak, can't pretend I'm doing fine. What were we? The most convincing almost I've ever had to leave behind. Tell me what to call this, when no one saw it come alive. What were we, if it meant nothing? Why am I still learning how to say goodbye? I woke up reaching for my phone before my mind caught up. Then everything shifted all at once without making a sound. I made 1 cup of coffee out of habit more than need, left it cooling on the counter, then poured it down the sink. The apartment hadn't noticed, nothing looked out of place. Your toothbrush by the mirror, an imprint on your side. The alarm still rang at 7, like it always used to do. I stayed beneath the covers and let it play right through, because the first morning cuts the deepest before your hands forget the shape, before your body stops expecting someone filling empty empty space. The worst part wasn't losing you. It was the first morning I remembered. The worst part wasn't saying it was over. It was making coffee for one without thinking. Then thinking. The first morning your pillow still carried the trace of your shampoo, and I couldn't decide if washing it meant losing you. The first morning I had the whole bed, but sleep wouldn't stay. I learned how silence sounds in the light of day. I called my sister around 10. She asked me how I'd been. I said I'd probably be alright. She let that answer stand. I appreciated not explaining what I couldn't understand. How ordinary things can hurt more than anyone had planned. I ate some toast without tasting, watched the ceiling for a while. Thought about reaching out to you 4 different times. Thought about another version where last night had never come. Stayed there longer than I should have before returning to this one. The worst part wasn't losing you. It was the first morning I reconstructed who I was before I belonged to all the plans we'd made together. The first morning I made room for a life I didn't choose. Every small decision felt like another way to lose. The first morning held the whole heartbreak compressed into a sunrise. Every quiet corner of the apartment looked different in my eyes. People say it softens with time. I nodded when they spoke, not because I fully believed it, but because I needed hope. The second morning still hurt badly, just in another way. And somehow that small difference helped me through the day. The first morning is the hardest. There's no wisdom left to borrow. You don't heal it, you survive it long enough to reach tomorrow. The worst part wasn't losing you. It was the ordinary morning after. The coffee cup, the alarm clock, the toothbrush by the mirror. All the little evidence of a life that hadn't changed. Though everything inside me knew nothing was the same. The first morning is a funeral no one else attends. Just one cup cooling in the kitchen, and the quiet settling in. The bed stretched out around me, the daylight moving on. The first morning I remembered you were gone. One cup, one alarm, one side of the bed. Morning came anyway, and I did too. You said her name like people mention rain, just part of every forecast in your day. I told myself I'd stay inside my lane, that wanting more would slowly fade away. Then you laughed across a crowded room that night, and something small turned heavy in my chest. I knew right then that being in your life would ask for more than friendship ever meant. I kept it underneath my tongue. What good with saying it undo. You're not mine to walk away from. Still somehow I'm losing you. She gets to keep you. The sleepy voice at 2:30. The Sunday mornings, bad day warnings, all the ordinary truth. She gets to keep you. While I rehearse my practice smile, I never had you. Still I miss you, and I can't reconcile how someone I was never holding leaves an empty space this size. I've shared a table, shook her careful hand. She's kind enough to make this harder still. No villain here, no grander circumstance, just wanting something I was never willed. I wish that anger came a little clean instead of this impossible divide, where I can love the way you love her too, and ache to stand outside your life. She gets to keep you. The name you'd list in emergencies, the hard conversations, small celebrations, every version in between. She gets to keep you. And I keep quiet, keep composed. I never had you, never held you. Still I'm mourning what I know, like losing something I was never supposed to call my own. I'm not asking you to choose, I could never ask for that. I just needed somewhere honest for the weight I've carried back since the night I understood what this friendship came to cost. Loving someone else's person while pretending nothing's wrong. She gets to keep you. I'll keep these feelings folded small, tucked between the things I never say, where they can't touch us at all. She gets to keep you, and I'll keep learning how to leave. Maybe one day I'll believe some loves aren't meant to be received. She gets to keep you. She gets to keep you. I never had you, but I lost you anyway, and I can't explain that to anyone. It was Sunday, April light fell through my room. I was searching for a picture, not for you. Then 2 years filled the screen in blue and gray, waiting where we left them, word for word that day. I sat down on the kitchen floor and read, started at the beginning, traced each thread, the careful jokes, the midnight honesty, the first I love you you ever sent to me. I know I should have closed it, I know what's done is done, but how do you stop reading the story of someone you loved enough to become? I scrolled all the way back to the beginning. We were laughing like the ending couldn't come. Then I closed the app and cried in silence, lost a whole Sunday to who we'd once become. I found our text still resting in my phone, like nothing changed, like I take. You wrote that you were frightened of the fall. I said I'd stay beside you through it all, and I meant every promise that I made, even knowing now how quickly things can fade. Maybe that's what held me to that screen, proof that we were honest in between. There was a time our words were fully true, and I believe the same was true for you. I scrolled all the way back to the beginning, and the girl I was still trusted what she'd hear. I wanted to reach into those old conversations, tell her nothing and just leave her happy there. I found our text and couldn't change the plot, couldn't spare her from the things she hadn't got. She was smiling in those typed out lines before goodbye. Rewrote the signs, I never deleted them. I hovered on the choice, but erasing every message would erase our voice. It happened, it mattered, even if it hurts to see. Some Sundays cost a little more than keeping history. I found our text, I closed the app, then opened it again. I saved the thread without apology for who we might have been. We were real inside those midnight lines, in every plan we'd make. Some things you carry through your life, though your hands still shake. I found our texts and kept them safe, though letting go seems wise, because I couldn't bear the weight of losing us twice. I found our text and put my phone away, still carrying those words into another day. It crept up slow, the way it always seems. Weeks had gone by without unraveling seams. Then I checked the date and lost my steady pace. 3 days out, I felt it written on my face. I filled the hours with ordinary plans, coffee cups and errands slipping through my hands. This time last year, your voice still filled this room. This time last year, I hadn't met this truth. No one tells you dates can change their shape, turning pages into ground you navigate. How a single square can hold a life so clear long after someone's disappeared. The calendar doesn't know what that date costs me every year. It flips another page like nothing happened here. This time last year, we still had time to spare. This time last year, I breathed a different air. The calendar moves forward without asking me to choose if I'm ready for tomorrow or still walking through the blues. This time last year, this time last year, part of me still lives in this time last year. The morning passed more gently than I'd feared. Then 3 o'clock arrived and drew the tears. A message came, I wrote, I'm doing fine, close enough to truth on days like this of mine. By evening I was tired, not undone, the kind of tired earned from carrying on. I crossed the line, this date had drawn in view the way I've learned to do. The calendar doesn't know what I left behind that day. It marks another month while I retrace my way. This but I can see ahead, a quieter road where grief and grace have met. I'm still walking. That's progress I can trust. The calendar doesn't know, but I know what I've survived. I made it through this day, and that means I'm alive. This time last year the ground gave way beneath. This year I found a little room to breathe. I'm not untouched by sorrow, but I'm steadier somehow, and being still is stronger than I ever knew till now. This time last year, this time last year, I made it to the other side somehow. The calendar keeps turning without fear, and I'll keep meeting this time last year. I keep a folder on my phone. Nobody's meant to look inside. Timestamps from the sleepless months when silence kept me up at night. 3 paragraphs from February. Started calm, then came apart. A Tuesday voice note telling truths I couldn't trust with someone else's heart. I hovered over send too long, then turned the screen face down instead. Some words feel safer staying typed than hearing what gets said. Still I write them, need somewhere for the ache to go. 2 in the morning, screen light glowing, spilling things you'll never know. My notes app is full of messages I wrote at 2 a.m. and never sent. Every line I second guessed, every truth with edges left unspent, unsent at midnight, 4 a.m. unsent when I missed you once again. Cause if I pressed that little arrow, you could answer, you could disappear. So the drafts keep getting longer while we vanish year by year. My notes app knows the whole story and keeps it sitting here. There's one from last October I still reread from time to time. It says I miss the easy days before this careful, quiet line. It doesn't beg for anything, doesn't ask you to explain. It simply says I miss the us that didn't treat each truth like pain. I keep it as a reminder I can say the things I feel. I just don't know who's safe enough to know that they're real. My notes app is full of messages I wrote in darkened rooms alone. Every conversation paused before it ever left my phone. Unsent because I'm scared of loss. Unsent because I know the cost of being first to say I cared and finding out you never did. So the message stays protected like a secret tightly hid, perfect in its punctuation, read by me and no one else again. Maybe one day I'll send one through or clear them out and start a new war. Print the pages black on white and read them in another life. Maybe writing is enough. Some nights that's how I set it down, finding somewhere for the weight to rest when no one's around. When Wednesday morning, 2 a.m. The screen still understands. My notes app is full of you. 3 years of unsent honesty, unlocked, unfinished, still sincere. A private archive made by me. Maybe someday I will stop. Maybe this is how it stays. A place where all the love I held could finally have its say. It never needed your reply to prove that it was true. Unsent but never fabricated. Every word was you. Every word was true. My notes app is full of messages I wrote you at 2 a.m. and never sent. Maybe that's where I actually live, between delete and send. And send. I know how you take your coffee cup, the look before your laughter starts to show, the song you play on every longer drive, the parts you skip that only regulars know. I learned you like a neighborhood I crossed, till every turn felt easy to recall. You never handed me the keys to enter, I never asked for anything at all, so I kept collecting ordinary moments, convincing myself that crumbs could feed it all. The hardest thing about a quiet love is nobody has asked for what you give. It settles in the spaces of your chest, where someone loving back was meant to live. I rearranged my whole personality around you, and you never even noticed the disguise. I dressed for every room I knew you'd walk through, still disappeared before your passing eyes. I loved you in the pauses and the almost, and borrowed scenes inside my restless mind. Loving you in secret left me lonely, with someone I could reach but never find. I almost told you late one November, half-spoken words were waiting at the door. I felt a maybe rising to my throat, and someone called your name from down the hall. The drive back home blurred silver through the windshield. I played the songs I'd worked so hard to miss, and let the truth sit heavy in the silence. Some things survive by never being risked. I rearranged my entire calendar around you, made myself available on cue, became the person always standing by you, then wondered why I vanished out of you. I loved you like a guest outside a window, close enough to watch, too far to stay. Loving you in secret kept me sheltered, but stole another night from me each day. Maybe you suspected for a moment, or maybe that's a story I composed. You were simply living out your life while I held weight you never chose, carrying a feeling in the background like extra baggage nobody could see. Loving someone who never asked to hold it finally became too much for me. I'm done loving you in secret, not from courage, not because you finally understood. I'm tired of saving all my better pieces for someone who never knew. stopped reserving space for someone who never knew I kept them here. I'm putting down the versions I protected, learning how to choose myself instead. The room is open now, and I can finally rest. By month 4, I quit making Friday plans, traded late night calls for holding your hand. Everywhere do you wanna eat became your choice. I turned down my volume, softened my voice, folded into habits that weren't really mine. Called compromise what looked more like decline. Then I stood alone in my own front room, trying to recognize the girl I outgrew. I don't blame you for every line I crossed. I signed my name without counting the cost. Loving you became another shift to work. I missed the warning hidden in the perks. Who was I before you? Tell me honestly. What songs filled my headphones on an empty street? Who were my people before I disappeared? Making space for someone while erasing years. Who was I before you? I'd like to know. Find the girl who spoke her mind and let it show. She wasn't meant to fade behind somebody else's view. Who was I before you? I'm remembering the truth. I found the bookmark where I left chapter 3. Press play on old playlist that still sounded like me. Called friends I slowly let slip through my hands. They picked right up without demanding explanations. That kind of grace can crack a guarded heart. See, and they had loved me from the start. Piece by piece, familiar things returned, like finding old addresses I'd forgotten that I'd learned. Who was I before you? She laughed out loud, took a broom without shrinking in a crowd. She had favorite films and stubborn points of view. A whole life that didn't start with you. Who was I before you? She's coming back in quiet evening moments, filling in the cracks. And this time I won't hand over all I have to prove. Who was I before you? She's got things left to lose. Loving someone shouldn't rewrite your name or make self-erasure feel the same. I know that now. I'm rebuilding what I lacked, and I think the girl I used to be has finally welcomed me back. Who was I before you? She's right here, under all the compromises born from fear. She's the one singing every word into this room. The proof that losing yourself isn't permanent doom. Who was I before you? I finally see. She's a little wiser, still entirely me. Certain now that love should never ask for less than truth. Who was I before you? I remember now. I remember now. I still made 2 cups of coffee by mistake. Left your side of the counter clear to save. Caught myself reaching for a second plate, then smiled at all the habits love engraves. I'd ask the empty hallway what to to choose, as if your answer floated through the walls. I never noticed how I blurred my views until I heard my own voice through it all. It's strange how someone's leaving fills a room more than all the years they occupied, and silence sits beside me every night until I let it soften at my side. I didn't know how much of who I'd been was answering the shape of you. How many little parts of me bent around the things you'd always do. Just me now, when morning breaks. Just me now, deciding where to go. Just me now, inside the quiet, learning what I need to know. It's terrifying standing here alone, but maybe honesty begins with just me now. I watched the films you used to roll your eyes at and laughed out loud with no one else to tell. That's when I felt the ache beneath the freedom, when joy is nowhere familiar left to dwell. I'd spent so many seasons being yours. I thought that sharing was the only way, but little by little I am finding some parts of me had simply gone away. Just me now in this apartment. Just me now at a table set for one. Just me now with thoughts and plans that only need to fit someone, and that someone is me. Slowly remembering what she likes, what she needs, the words she never said, while she was busy being everything you read. Just me now, and she's someone worth knowing. Last Tuesday I cooked dinner just for me, placed one mug down intentionally. The quiet didn't feel like something gone. It felt like room to finally breathe, like space to stretch, like room to grow, like possibilities unfolding slow. Like maybe being on my own could still feel whole. Just me now, and maybe more than okay, more herself than yesterday. We had our own way of talking in code, 7 years of punchlines nobody wrote. And she arrived and you let her inside, teaching our language I used to provide. You'd cancel our plans, I'd smile and say fine. Each little compromise crossing a line, till all of my answers sounded rehearsed, speaking to silence where we once were first. I know that love can rearrange a room, shift every habit, change the view, but I never thought loving someone new meant losing every version of you. You didn't cheat on me with her, but it felt exactly like that. The slow pull away, becoming second place to a future I wasn't in anymore. I never asked you to choose, just keep what we built while loving her too. You didn't leave me for her, but you left and she's the reason, and that truth still cuts. I met her over birthday birthday cake and wine. She was kind, which made it harder each time. No villain to blame, no scene to defend. Just watching you look at her different again. I laughed through the meal, played my old part while counting the spaces appearing between us. Nobody notices friendships fade, they just see who's there and who's been replaced. You didn't cheat on me with her, but I'm mourned us all the same. The 2 a.m. calls and the jokes in the cabs, and hearing you say my name. The piece of your world I used to hold now fits in somebody else's hands. You didn't leave me for her, but your life drew new lines, and I don't know where I stand. I hope she's good to you, I truly mean every word. I hope she hears your late night thoughts, the ones I always heard. I hope you tell her about me when old stories cross your mind. I hope she knows before she came, you were loved completely by a friend who stayed behind. You didn't cheat on me with her, but I still had to grieve the language that belonged to us, the history only we could read. You didn't leave me for her, but the friendship left with you. Now I'm learning love can open hands even when they wanna hold on. That's what real love is, knowing when to let someone choose. You didn't cheat on me with her, but I still miss who we were. I'll trip the ledger, yak my mind with every bruise that shaped my youth. I thought one day I'd read it out and hand those heavy pages back to you. Then I reached the age you were, when our house held all that strain, and I saw a frightened woman there, trying hard while carrying her pain. You were only human, with lessons left untaught. Life had already worn you down long before our paths had crossed. It doesn't erase the damage or undo what we went through, but it changed the way I hold the memories of you. I spent years angry at you for things I now see you never knew how to do. I thought every wound was chosen, now I know some chose you. You were just a person with more weight than you could move, doing all you understood with the tools life gave to you. I understand you now, though I don't know what comes next. I understand you now, and my heart can finally rest. I found old pictures in a box, your nervous smile, your tired eyes. You looked much younger than the role I'd cast you in my childhood mind. I sat for hours on the floor, letting old beliefs unwind. The woman I had feared for years was just a girl pressed hard by time. I spent years telling myself you were the villain in my story's frame. Now I'm old enough to witness how grief can simplify instead of only what went wrong makes the weight I've carried feel a little less prolonged. I'm not saying it was right, I'm not saying I've forgotten. I just saw that younger version of the life that you'd been given. You were someone's frightened daughter, doing all that you knew. And I was just a child, trying to make it through. I understand you now in ways that took me years to find. I understand you now, and peace arrives by slow design. I'm setting down the burden that I've carried since those days, not for your forgiveness, but to free myself from weight. I understand you now, and I'm learning to let go. I understand you now, more than I thought I'd ever know. I understand you now. I understand you now. I knew the look before you'd say a word, how your hands would shake while swearing you had learned. I'd pour the bottles down the kitchen drain. You'd promise me tomorrow wouldn't end the same. I studied every warning sign by heart, mapped every exit before we'd fall apart. I loved you past the point that love could mend, and lost myself while trying to defend. They say you can't make somebody choose a life they never learned they had to use. But tell that to a soul that watched the truth walk out the door with someone they still knew. I would have burned down everything to keep you safe from what you'd bring, and still it wouldn't be enough. I lost myself trying to love. I stayed awake through every fight, tried talking darkness into light, but I can't save you from you, no matter how I wanted to. Learning that was hard to do. I think about that Tuesday when I left, folded up my clothes and took what hope was left. You slept through every silent goodbye while I sat behind the wheel and wondered why. I don't regret it on the hardest days, though I still hope you found a better way. I had to save the life I still could reach. The one that needed me was me. I would have burned through all I had, trying to outrun what made you crash. I gave you every part of me, you spent it like a currency. Because I can't save you from you, that's the truth that pulled me through. It broke my heart and set me free, at the same time inside of me. I hope one day you finally see I still love who you were beneath the ache, not the words that cut, the promises that broke away. I just couldn't build my home inside your pain. I needed room to breathe again. Truths leave permanent scars. Choosing me was overdue, still that choice felt cruel. I can't save you version of this story where you fight for something more. I would have burned down everything and still watched hope slip through. I can't save you from you. God, I wanted to. God, I wanted to. I can't save you from you, but I hope someday you save yourself. You asked me on a Tuesday night to stay. No tears, no scene, just coffee going cold. I packed my plans and looked the other way, with borrowed faith and promises we told. I said we'd make the distance bend somehow, like love could stretch wherever I would roam. I meant each word I whispered then and now, but wanting both never brought us home. We tried with all the strength we had, 8 months of calls across the miles, till holding on took all we had, and hope wore thin behind our smiles. I chose the life I wanted most and lost the hand I held the closest. I'd make that choice again today. That's the truth I hate to say. I chose the flights, the late night drive, over quiet mornings by your side. Ambition sends a bill in time, and yours arrived addressed to mine. I reached the place I fought to find. The view is clear, the room is mine. Still sometimes when the workday ends, I count the cost between the lines. Was it choosing or sacrifice? 2 words that wear the self-same face. I built the life I dreamed about, yet feel your absence in this space. I chose the life I wanted most, and where the title I was chasing, still in every victory toast, there's an empty chair I'm facing. Ambition takes what it requires. I sign my name beneath the line. I'd pay that price another time, and live with both the loss and climb. I don't regret the dream I found. I regret the shape it took. Maybe somewhere timing changed, maybe we got one more look, but this is where the story lands. No second draft, no grand excuse. I chose the road that called my name, and in that choice I ended us. I chose the life I wake up in. Some days it shines, some days it stings. Ambition had a price to pay, and yours was written on the thing. I'd choose this path, I'd miss you still. I'm sorry and relieved somehow. 2 truths I carry every day, and this is what they cost me now. Ambition has a cost. I know exactly what it cost.